Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. What a week. Or actually a couple of weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah. Cindy had to go to North Carolina. Her father passed away, as you saw in the opening of this video. And had to handle a lot of stuff.
Still handling a lot of stuff.
Yes.
By phone and email and all that stuff. So.
But yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. And when I come back to YouTube, I find, here we go again. Another panic in the RV industry. Nobody's going to be able to full-time RV anymore, ever.
It's always a tragedy coming around the corner.
Yeah. And that's actual bullcrap. Okay? Because people are, and everybody's doing it. We did it. Our thumbnail says, banned. Okay?
And here you are listening to what we're going to talk about.
Right. And the bottom line is, what's really happening here with the motorhomes is not really the government's fault. It's the RV industry, once again. Not having any foresight, not having any forethought, and going, oh, I thought we didn't count in that.
So we're going to look at the pros and cons, good and bad, about this act.
ACT.
I hadn't even heard of it till Felix told me about it because I've been kind of out of the loop for a couple of weeks.
And it stands for Advanced Clean Truck Act. And what it means, basically, is that any vehicle over, I think it's 8,600 pounds, must be low emissions.
Is it either electric or no emissions?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, electric is no emissions.
Right.
So, now, this is 13% of the fleet must be. I don't know how that applies to the RV industry, if that 13% is still appropriate and attached. But everybody knew this was coming. The government has not been shy about saying they wanted to go towards a complete elimination of high emissions vehicles. Thus, the sudden boom of Tesla, the Cybertruck.
Isn't it cute?
It's horrible. The Ford Lightning, which is basically an electric F-150.
The Rivian
IV or something like that. Everybody's got electric vehicles now. The Nissan Leaf. I mean, they're just everywhere. But the RV industry stood back and said, well, that doesn't apply to us, right? And yeah, it does. So, if you have a motorhome that you already own, you are not going to be banned in California.
It doesn't mean you can't drive it in California. It means you can't buy one in California.
You can't buy a new one. And there's going to be 10 other states that will be joining in ACT. I'm going to look at the list, so I didn't have to memorize the 10 states. That will be Oregon, which will start in 2026. Vermont, implementation starts in 2026. Washington starts in 2027. New Jersey also starts in 2027. New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, Colorado, New Mexico, and Rhode Island all start in 2027. Now, does this mean that you will not be able to buy a motorhome? No. you will absolutely be able to buy a motorhome. You won't be able to buy a high emissions motorhome in those states. You will still be able to take your motorhome to those states.
They're not going to have a guards at the state border saying, no, you cannot enter.
Right. You shall not pass.
You shall not pass!
People, don't panic here. Again, it's the RV industry letting everybody down. Now, on the flip side of that, the infrastructure in the United States is nowhere near ready.
You see a lot of charging stations. We see a lot more now than we used to. But it's not nearly, I mean, look at the amount of charging stations you see versus how many gas stations you see.
Yeah.
There's not nearly enough to keep up with a really quick turnover of electric vehicles.
And, I mean, the technology really isn't working yet either. Anybody here want to sit in a gas station for a half hour while your electric vehicle charges? No. So I feel like the government is rushing to get this into place without actually helping to install the infrastructure to support it. But that being said, everybody knew this.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sit there and say, well, I thought we were exempt from that. Because didn't you ask the question up front?
Yeah.
So, if you have a Class A, Class B, well, Class Bs probably won't be in this because they're usually under 8,000 pounds. But a Class A, a Class C, a Super C, those are all going to be over 8,000 pounds. And you're not going to be able to purchase those in those states that I mentioned. However, you will be able to still use them. You will be able to still go to those states. And even if you buy one in, let's say, I don't know, North Carolina, brand new, that is not low emissions. Nobody's going to stop you from going to California, New York, Vermont, or any of those other states. So don't panic. Despite what many of the RV channels here say, it is not time to panic.
Everybody's not going to have to stop full-time RV living or even traveling in an RV.
And I actually saw that as one of the thumbnails. Full-time RV life is over. This is exactly what the video was about. So, heck, don't even click on our thumbnail. Because we're doing the same thing, just trying to get people to watch our videos. But for goodness sake.
You can always depend on us to tell the truth, though. We're not going to be doing some misinformation stuff just to be
No chance.
flashy and try to stir up conflict. So.
Absolutely no chance.
We hate conflict, so we're not doing that.
Yes. No, conflict, drama. This is a drama-free zone.
This is an anger-free zone. There.
Very simply, yeah, there's going to come a time when all vehicles are going to have to be zero emissions. And I don't care who's president, I don't care who's in charge, that is in place, and that is going to stay in place. And from all accounts, it's like 2035 that they're going to expect at least a very large amount of reduced emissions. Now, to our government, I would say, okay, great. Let's support that with some infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's about all I have to say about this. I want to wish everybody out there a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Yes. By the time we do our next video and it comes out,
It'll be 2 days after Christmas.
yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And hope to see you
We
next
wish you
week.
a Merry
And until then,
and a happy
safe travels.
New Year.